Take yourself off camera if that's nice. Slow inhales, letting the lungs really expand. Nice long exhale. Letting everything sink, melt away. We'll do a little work on, we'll do chi massage, but it's essentially a little more acupressure-y points to begin with. I don't know about you, but with the holidays, sometimes overindulging in maybe some foods that are a little more richer than we are taking in normally. And sometimes that can translate, especially sugar, can translate to some achy joints. So we're going to do a little bit of acupressure on the major joints of the body. And then let's take the hands to the waist. So about where you would put your belt or where if you find your navel. So usually where there's a little bit of indentation. Maybe for some of us, there's no indentation, but like where you think an indentation would be. And then press in. So you have a nice firm pressure here. And then when you inhale, maintain that pressure. So you're forcing your breath to work a little bit, your lungs to work a little bit on the inhale. Almost like you're trying to press the hands away from one another. And on the exhale, they sink back in, almost like you're cinching your waist. We're just working on the belt channel, which is the only channel that runs horizontally across the body, and it integrates what's happening in the upper body and the lower body. And by maintaining a little bit of pressure and resistance here, we're able to work out the diaphragm. So just when you're so instead, normally an inhale, this is nice and free. So if we have a little bit of resistance, we're pressing in, maintain that resistance. So it's a little more difficult to take an inhale. That's what we're trying to work on. So almost like you're pushing your hands away with your diaphragm. Almost like there's a weight and we're trying to breathe against the weight. Like if you were to lay down on the ground and someone were to put like a big 10-pound weight on your abdomen, when you take a deep breath, that your stomach may rise, but it's a little more difficult. We're doing that with the lateral aspect of the lungs and the diaphragm. And on the right side, this is my right. Feels like your left. On your right side, that's where the liver and gallbladder are located. And then on the left, where your stomach, spleen, and pancreas are located. So by pressing in slightly and forcing the breath to work a little harder and the diaphragm to work a little harder, you're giving those organs a little massage. Okay, and then release your arms down and let's go into knocking on the door of life. Yeah, free up the base of the spine. Circulating the cerebral spinal fluid. And then let's come up below the collarbone. Giving those lungs a little bit of attention. It seems to be getting a little bit better, but for a few weeks, there were a lot of people complaining about allergies that don't normally have allergies, and a lot of sore throat, like post-nasal drip, irritated throat, and thus a little dry cough. So helping to give some love to this area that might be a little bit of impacted. And then come to the top of the shoulders. And then back down below the collarbone. With my fingertips going. And then back down to the waist. And then release. Okay. You can still hear me. Is that correct? Okay, good. Yeah. Sometimes it sounds a little strange, but okay. So we're going to do a little bit of that chi massage acupressure that I was talking about, starting with the inner and outer gates, which we've done before. So we're going to cross the wrist. Let's start with the palms facing you, and we're going to aiming for the distance about 3 finger breaths above the wrist on the inner and outer. We're going to start with the palms facing you, and we're just going to knock those points. Again, so the point on the inner wrist, pericardium 6, for emotional immunity, and on the outside of the wrist for more physical immunity. And then let's switch, opposite hand in front. And now we're going to there's a point on the heart channel, it's heart 8. If you were to take your fingers and just curl them in towards your palm, roughly where your middle finger touches the center of your palm is a point called heart 8, Lao Gong. So we're gonna activate that point. So with your other hand, the third knuckle, the knuckle of the third finger, you're gonna aim for that in the center of your palms. Gently knock into the center of your palm, about right here, for anxiety and emotional balance. Pull your finger forward. Yep, right in there. Right in the crease. I think it's probably, or no, the longevity line. So we can increase our line. And then let's go to the opposite side. So reducing anxiety, reducing inflammation in the heart. Okay, and let's just pause here for a moment before we continue on. Just close your eyes, even just feeling the tingling sensation in your hands as you're activating circulation, you're activating that flow of chi. You might already feel a little spaciousness in the center of the chest. And now we'll do areas around the acupressure points around the elbows and then the knees. So the first one, if you take your right arm and bend at the elbow, so it's in front of you. So just at the top of the elbow crease, so it's facing the ceiling, we're just going to take a loose fist and knock on that point. This is large intestine 11, great for the immune system. It's half jokingly called the acupressure antibiotic point. It's used a lot for immune system conditions and allergies. And now we're going to go to the inside of the elbow. a point on the lung channel to help disperse phlegm and congestion in the lungs. And then on the inner elbow, a point on the heart channel that also helps to decrease anxiety. And then let's just pause for a moment before we continue onto the opposite side. You might even notice there are points, especially that first point, the large intestine 11 point that clears heat. So I don't, if you might even be able to tell like your right elbow versus your left elbow. You might notice a cooling sensation in the elbow that you just worked on. And then let's go to the opposite. So whatever arm you did not do, we're doing that one. Let's start with large intestine 11. So not only, these points are very specific for certain conditions, but we're also helping to increase the circulation in the joint capsule itself. So if you have any elbow stiffness, even carpal tunnel, even though we're upstream a little bit, is going to help. And then the inside of the elbow. And then that heart 3 point on the inner side of that elbow crease. And then let's release and pause. Let's just do a little mini activation of the lower back now. Just around the sacrum and the lumbar. And then release the arms. We're not doing the whole body like we've been doing because we're targeting very specific acupressure areas. So we're going to go down to the knees now because I don't know about you, but as I get older, my knees get creakier. Let's step forward with your left foot and bend that front knee. And then you're just going to lean slightly over. You don't have to bend forward completely, but lean slightly forward so that your hands are on either side of that front knee. And we're just going to flap. You can either use open palms or loose fists. Yeah. Yeah, a little less flappy. So this is great if you have knee pain, helping to, just increasing circulation. And there are points on the spleen channel, the stomach channel, the gallbladder channel that surround the knee capsule. And then let's stand up and then let's switch legs. So the opposite leg is in front and you're bending that front knee. Hands on either side. And let's just tap, knock, slap, whatever you prefer, on either side of the knee capsule. And then let's stand up. Okay. Yeah, right. Feel a little good, feel a little cooler. Not that it's very warm outside, but okay, let's widen our stance now. And let's start with a little bit of spinal twisting. So hands on the thighs above the knee, and then you're going to drop your right shoulder down towards the earth, and then gently look over your left shoulder. Getting a little stretch throughout the spine. Yeah, let's just give ourselves a few seconds to really allow that rotation to happen, to gently, very gently, start to squeeze those intervertebral discs. Because what will happen is as we unwind and those discs plump back up, all that fresh blood flow is really great for circulation. And then let's drop the left shoulder down, looking over the right shoulder. And now let's, on the breath, do a few rotations, just inhaling to the center and then dropping the shoulder down on the exhale, looking over the opposite shoulder. And let's come to the center and then just fold forward. You can let your arms come to the floor just below your face, or you can keep your hands on your thighs, but let the crown of your head reach towards the earth. Oh, it feels good, right? The traction, that weight of your head just gently pulling on your spine. And a little opening in the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. And then let's slowly roll all the way up. Let's grab one wrist with the opposite hand and a few full body waves. So stretching up in the inhale and then a flat back exhale coming forward towards the earth. And then inhale, rolling up. And exhale. Inhale. And one more for good measure. And then roll up, one more stretch. Release the hands and then, okay, bring our feet back to closer distance and let's just shake everything out. Maybe this time using the sound of the heart on the exhale, the H-A-A-A, really clear internal heat, mental turbulation, anxiety, stress. Yeah, let me get as loud as you want, right? We're in the privacy of our own home, and even if not. Let it go. And then start to slow down. That was a good one. Okay, so we're gonna start our flows with Buddha holding up the earth, which we've done before, and then we'll go into some Zen circles, which we've done before, and then we'll go into something new called the blue dragon. So let's start with the arms down, and then inhale the arms. Whoops, what am I doing? Scratch that. Buddha holding up the earth. The palms face up, and then inhale, the arms come up. Palms to the sky, pause, and then exhale, the hands float back down. So we start with the palms facing up, right? We come in, hand spirals in towards your heart, and then up towards the sky. And then the hands float back down. Let's really tap into moving on the breath. So the inhale, like your inhale is what's moving the arms up. And just as the crescendo of that inhale happens, right? The exhale begins and the arms start to float back down. So there's this natural flow state that happens when the movement and breath are integrated. Really allowing a slow, deep inhale so the movement slows down. And a slight pause, maybe at the top of the inhale, and then the exhale. And again, this is one of the flows for the metal element. The lung and large intestine channels, right, meet the thumb and the index finger. So as we inhale and stretching the polarity, right? Stretching the inhale and exhale. And that pause, the very tippity top, we're really spreading the index finger and thumb away from one another. And then exhale, release everything down. So thinking about the breath, that inhale and exhale, that yin and yang, positive and negative. And we stretch the polarity, we create more chi. We create more energy. And traditional Chinese medicine theory, right? We start with the Tao. That's everything all together and also nothing, right? And from this vast spaciousness, we have yin and yang, right? This duality that is interdependent on one another. You cannot have one without the other. And that polarity between the two is what creates matter and energy and the five elements. And then from the five elements are the 10,000 things. That's how they refer to just manifestation of, our existence, nature, things around us. With that, it's all originated from the similar and same source. Just using the rhythmic flow, the connection, our attention and intention of moving with flow creates this effortlessness. And it has us dialed in to the space around us, our connection to that. And the veil of separateness sort of starts to get a little see-through. And we see how everything is really this intricate web. Now let's come all the way down and pause here in the posture that we started with just for a moment. And from here, let's go into Zen circles. So keep your right hand where it is, and the left hand is going to drop. You're going to turn slightly to the right as the left hand comes up and makes this big circle. So we're moving from the hips and the waist, and then comes down. So we're just moving from the hips and the waist, creating these big circles. First, we're using our left arm. So inhaling as arm comes up, and exhale as it floats back down. Inhaling and exhaling. And what these circles are a reflection of is that concept of the Tao, of this circle of everything and nothing simultaneously, this containment. Right? Taking more ethereal energy and giving it some form. Now pause at the very top of the next circle. Okay, so keep your hand here just for a moment. If you're familiar, I'm pretty sure probably all have seen the Tai Chi symbol. It's that circle that has, it looks like two fish, a black fish and a white fish that are sort of chasing each other's tails. It's that symbol that represents yin and yang. So from this empty circle, we're going to create that. So just imagine you can make an S with your hand. So you're going to come down, imagine it's the small tail of one side and then curving it around. Now we're entering the outside of the circle again. So making a big circle and then coming around so that we hit the top and then making an S. So we're recreating that first division, right? The yin and yang symbol through which everything else manifests. Coming to the top. So we're making, I'm going to pause here in case I just want to pull up the symbol. And let's do this really quickly. I just want to make sure that we are all okay. Maybe I won't be able to. If you know what I'm talking about, okay. I don't think I'm able to do that right now. But if you know what I'm talking about, well, next time I'll send a picture beforehand. But for now, let's just continue on making an S curve, and then we're encapsulating that whole thing, right? In the outer perimeter and coming back to the top and then creating that S. And then all the way around. Back to the top, creating that S. And now let's pause. Let's do one more circle all the way around and bring that hand back down underneath your right hand. And now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So let's start by just making big Zen circles. Inhaling and exhaling down. And next time we reach the top of the circle, we'll pause. And then almost like you're carving out an S. So making an S, like a fish starting with the tail, and then wrap around the whole circle, the tail, and then the head, and then the outer circle. The representation of yin and yang, and that within yin, there's a drop of yang, and within yang, there's a drop of yin, meaning nothing is absolute. Everything is relative and constantly changing. Also a representation of the fact that life is, impermanence, and that things are constant. That's the only constant, is that things are always changing. And we can find ways, and change is often, as human beings, we are resistant to it. That has a biological component, right? When we know we are in comfort with knowing, then we're safe. Yes, homeostasis, right? But that can also can have obviously biologically very large benefits, but then we're also sort of in a stuck state where things are constantly changing and we're resistant to it. Then there could be causing resistance internally, like that makes maybe making things a little more turbulent and difficult. So kind of learning to navigate life and that constant fluctuation with a little more ease and curiosity. Okay, let's make one more big circle. And then let's just pause. Let's bring that hand underneath your opposite. So your hands are stacked. Let's just pause here in this posture for a moment. So the hands aren't touching, they're a few inches apart. So we've created our Zen circles and the concept of yin and yang and polarities and stretching the polarities to create more chi, more energy. Let's bring the arms down, around, and up, and bring the palms together. Bless you. So your palms are together. Now inhale down to the heart center. Now you're going to turn your fingers so they're facing forward. And then you're going to press your hands forward. We're going to go over this many, many times. Now you're going to separate your hands and then pull them apart slightly. Now turn your hands so they're facing down. And then gently pull in. You can curl your hands in as you pull in towards the chest. Now release the index and the thumb, large intestine and lung, and then push forward. On the exhale, and then I'm going to scoop down like you're pulling in from that reservoir of energy on the inhale and scooping up right into the heart center. And take the exhale here. Now inhale, crossing right here, right? We're bringing it all around. And then inhale, separate them slightly. Now that index finger and thumb again, I'm going to push to the sides. And that's the whole sequence, which we'll do many times. Okay, so we're going to inhale all the way into the center of the chest. And exhale, we're going to push those fingers forward. Separate the hands as we inhale. Exhale, the fingers are curling down. And then inhale, pull in. Index finger and thumb stretch as we exhale forward. Inhale, scoop from the well and inhale into the center of the chest. And then exhale, crisscross with the forearms. And then inhale. And then exhale, pushing to the sides as we exhale. Again, inhale, palms together, down to the center of the chest. Exhale, forward. Separate the hands. And then inhale. Exhale, push forward. Inhale as we scoop. And then exhale. Sorry, I might have given you the wrong breath cues before, but this is correct. Inhale as we crisscross the arms. Separate. And then exhale out. Inhale all the way up, starting again into the center of the chest. So as we push forward, piercing that veil, right? Piercing that veil. And then as we open the hands up, this is like little mirrors looking at ourselves. And then inhale, pulling in from the energy around us, and then pushing forward. We want to release. Then we get to inhale from that well, and then exhaling it into the heart center. And then we crisscross that protection, separating, And then exhale to the sides. Just inhaling up and all the way in. Exhale, piercing that veil. Separating, looking at the hands are like our little mirrors so we can see ourselves clearly. And then inhale, pulling in energy. Exhale, what we want to get rid of, what we're ready to release. Inhale into the heart center, looking at your palms. Just pause here. And then inhale, crisscross, separate, and then exhale. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, piercing the veil, right? The illusions that we all possess, separate, looking and seeing ourselves clearly in the mirror, pulling in what we want to bring in, and then letting go of what we want to let go of, right? And then pulling in from this well, nourishing the heart center. And then crisscrossing, right? Letting go of what the world thinks that we should do or who we should be, so that we are pouring ourselves out from our heart center. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And then inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale, crisscrossing, releasing, opening the heart, and then exhale all the way out. And then let the arms come all the way down into our chi ball. That whole series is really about the heart and the lung system. The lungs is all about where we find inspiration, what inspires us, and then our heart center, what we desire, in integrating those two. And then let the arms drop down. Inhale all the way up, and then exhale. Inhaling inspiration. Exhaling what we have been tethered to that's not inspiring. Inhaling what our hearts desire. Exhaling unnecessary expectations. And one last one, inhale what it is that you want to create, and exhaling all the inhibitions and self-doubt. And then let's finish off in Bamboo in the Wind. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thank you, everyone. It was good to see all your faces again. And I'll send you the links if you'd like me to send them to you, the link. Okay, take care. Have a brilliant weekend. And I will see. Next weekend, I will try to do it. My nephew is graduating from high school and I'll be in North Carolina, but I think it might work out in the morning because I'll find out what time. My parents will tell me what time it is, and I'll send an email. If I have to move it around or anything, I'll let you know well in advance. It's okay. I'll talk to you. We'll figure it out. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Bye.